I keep hearing the same thing about how a lot of people in life feel stuck, how they're not moving at the speed or the pace that they think they should be moving at because they feel stuck and they just don't know where to go. I'm here to tell you the reason that is because you come from a toxic and very manipulative parents. Your parents shaped you and they probably didn't give you the best kind of loving and care that you should have. And now that you're an adult, you feel fucking lost. Um, in a way, I was conditioned to doubt myself. I didn't come from a household where my mom was uplifting me and telling me I could do it and good job. Like, especially if you come from a black family, a lot of black families, it's like they want to see you fail. They want to see you do bad. It's just drama. It's just fucking a lot of messy, you know, everything. Um, and I just grew up doubting myself. They often raise you to question your own instincts and abilities, shit that you just supposed to do without even thinking about. Your parents has some type of control over because they manipulated you in a way to where you don't even know how to think on your own. They make you feel guilty for wanting independence and keeping you emotionally stuck and unsure of your worth. And that's where a lot of people are today. A lot of people, it's crazy, 25, 30, they want that independence, but they don't know how to go about it because they're manipulated and they don't want to, their parents will make them feel guilty if they do want to leave or branch out or get away from the negativity. Listen, I feel you. I totally understand. Um, Talked to a coworker today who, you know, their father, she had a father who passed away, and she felt that she had to take on the responsibility of all the burial and getting people together, and it wasn't her responsibility because she had five other siblings. Now they didn't want to do it, but I just feel like she was the one who was mainly manipulated by her mom and her parents, and all the way to their death, to the point to where even when they're no longer here, those that inner voice is still there in her head. And I know a lot of people go through that. um you just you have to get out this fucking cycle. Their control, it keeps you in a cycle of guilt and obligation. How many of y'all ever feel obligated you had to do something because it was family, or because your toxic mom or your toxic father, they made you feel like it was your responsibility to do it? um they use this guilt to make you believe you owe them your loyalty, your silence, and you don't owe them anything. you know they brought you into this world, but it's like, I know my mom, she used to say, like, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. you know and I would always think to myself, like, I'll take my fucking self out. You don't need to do it. I don't want to be here. I didn't ask to be here. So who you threaten? You threaten me with a good time. And that was her way of making me feel guilty that I was born into this world. Like, I didn't ask to be here. Even when you feel trapped, they make you feel like you owe them, or it's your responsibility to do whatever. Like, fuck that. And I know this is hard for a lot of people because they've already been manipulated. They've already been brainwashed. When you get to a point to where you 35, 40 years old, you kind of stuck in your ways. Now, I got out the shit early. I kind of realized this around 15, 16. My mom was very manipulative. She put us in, a family dynamic that was fucked up. She had the favorite, she had the scapegoat, and it created competition within us. And it's like, it just fucked everything up right from the beginning. And true growth begins when you realize that obligation is not the same as love. And I think a lot of people have that mixed up. They think that they get love and obligation mixed up. Like, you have to get out this fucking cycle. And detach is the one thing you have to do. You have to detach. Detachment is big for everything. You could detach from situations. You could detach from, go places, but detach. I go to my job, but I detach myself from all the bullshit. I'm here to get money and go home. I'm not here to, you know, hang out and politic and talk about what we did over the weekend. I'm not here for none of that shit. um, you gotta get to a point to where you realize that detachment is not disrespect. It's self-protection. Um, you can't continue to let this shit go on to where you're growing older and you still feel like you obligated to take care of your parents, or you're obligated to buy this, or take on this. Like, you're not obligated to do any fucking thing. um Walking away, or setting boundaries don't make you ungrateful or heartless, because I know a lot of parents will tell you how ungrateful you are because you want to fucking set boundaries for yourself. You want to move out. You want to, do this. And now you ungrateful. No, that is self fucking respect. It means you are choosing to heal instead of constantly being hurt by people who refuse to change. You gonna continue to stay in this family and you ain't gonna go no fucking where, because you realize that, yo, my mom is toxic, my brother and sister, they're jealous of each other. um you know they're negative. I have to get the fuck out of here and get out quick, get out soon, because the amount of people, as I'm 34 years old, the amount of people I run into and they talk about how they're stuck, or they feel like they have to take on some shit because of their parents told them to, and their parents not even no longer here, or their parents like 80, and they feel like they have to fucking do it. They have to, do whatever it is. Like, no, you don't. My brother, he struggled with this. I feel like he was the favorite. He was the favorite. He was a golden child, so he did whatever my mom told him. But, you know, he took it upon himself that he was like the dad figure, because I didn't have a dad, but he took it upon himself that like he got to check on everybody, and then he get mad when people don't. It's like, bro, that's not your fucking role. She manipulated you into that role, and now you 40 years old, bro, and you still feel like you have to take this home. It's too many people that waste their fucking lives because their manipulation from their parents, and they just stuck. They don't know how to think. They don't know what love is. They don't know what creativity is. None of it. And it's sad. So many fucking people lives just go to waste because of their parents or their family. You have to get to a point where you have to get some type of emotional distance, because that's really where all the freedom starts. Once you create some emotional distance, that's where you're gonna start feeling free. You can't build a better future while living in the fucking shadows of manipulation, and a lot of people are living in the shadows of their parents or family manipulation. Detachment, it gives you clarity, it gives you confidence, and it gives you the peace to finally become the person that you're meant to be, not under their control. Again, the fact that there's so many fucking people out there still chasing a dream that their mom or their dad sold them is crazy to me. You're an adult. Um, and then, it's just, it's sad. It really is. I have 2 or 3 siblings who's going through this shit right now. Toxic, very toxic family. There was no good structure. There was nothing. And here you are taking on all this fucking negativity and uh, you know, manipulation, and all that shit just get passed down. Now they have kids and all they do is they do that shit to their kids because that's what my mom did to us. It is a vicious fucking cycle. So if you could get out of it, get out of it now, because you don't want to be 50, 40 years old talking about, I wish I would have did that. I wish I would have, my mom, fuck all that. You old enough. If you feel like you know someone who could use this video, send it to them and get out this cycle. Like, comment, subscribe, and y'all have a blessed day. Deuces.